It's definitely safe for kids to go to school at the moment. We have lots of measures and practices in place on a daily operational level to keep kids safe from COVID whilst they're here at school. So yes, it is safe for kids to be at school at the moment. So our safety measures are quite complex here. We try and cohort our kids. So we keep our Year 7 groups together, our Year 8 groups together, Year 9, Year 10, 11, and then obviously the Year 12 HSC kids are kept completely separate from the rest of the school. And the reason we do that is that if there is a chance of COVID in one child in one year group, then we can contain it to that particular year group. So in terms of cohorting kids, we have them allocated to different parts of the playground during lunch breaks. We also try and keep them separate at school entrance and exit time. So we allow Year 7 to go first, and a few minutes later Year 8 will go, to try and reduce mingling between the year groups. Other safety measures we have in place, we sanitize. We ask kids to sanitize their hands. So I stand there with my sanitizer at the front of my class, and every kid sanitizes their hands as they come in. Everyone wears a mask here at school, teachers, SAS staff, GAs, students from Year 7 all the way to Year 12, everyone wears a mask. We are not allowing parents or visitors on site at the moment, so it's only the staff members and the kids who go to school here that are allowed on site. If we need to have an interview with a parent, we do that via Zoom, and if we have interviews such as this one, we also do that via Zoom, and try and completely keep minimal the number of additional people here at school. We also have additional cleaners on. We've got 2 or 3 additional cleaners on here on a daily basis, and they walk around cleaning all the high touch points. So the doorknobs, the tables, where else they clean, around the canteen area, in the bathrooms, anywhere that's a high touch point, they're walking around sanitizing that all through the day. And one more thing, as we finish each lesson, we sanitize our tables, ready for the next class to come in. So there are quite a lot of safety measures in place at the moment to try and stop the spread of COVID. And obviously all of our teachers and staff here at school are double vaccinated. In terms of our air conditioning, where we have the cooler classrooms air conditioning that draws air in from outside, we're continuing to use those. We're allowed to use those because they draw air in from outside and they're not circulating air. What I've got, for example, here in my office, which is just a split system, we're not to use those because they will increase the risk of spreading COVID. But yeah, we do take ventilation very seriously, and we keep windows open as much as we can. We take kids outside and do our classrooms in our outdoor learning spaces, but obviously that can't happen every lesson. There are a large number of parents who are really concerned right now about their child having fallen behind. So to any parent who thinks that their child has fallen behind academically, you're not alone. Many, many parents feel that their kids have fallen behind. And yes, some kids have fallen behind. They're all different home circumstances, and some of our students engaged really well during online learning and were able to get ahead. And some students unfortunately did fall behind. And my advice to those families would be to contact your school. The schools have fantastic, what we call learning support teams. And if you contact a member of the learning support team, they'll be able to assess your child. And if there's room for that child to get additional support, that will be offered to them. There are some official approved programs such as the COVID intensive learning program, which if your child has fallen further behind than other students, they may be eligible for. But it's really important here to keep that channel of communication open with the school and give the school a call and say, I feel like my child's fallen behind. They're concerned, they're stressed, what can you do to help me? And it'll be between the learning and support team, the year advisor, the deputy principal for your child's year group, and the head teacher wellbeing, that supports will be put in place and offered to you. At the beginning of returning from COVID, we were incredibly worried that students would struggle socially and emotionally, but pleasantly surprised that here in the school setting, kids have actually returned and transitioned back quite smoothly. We haven't had the number we were expecting lots of anxiety issues. We were expecting students to just want to go back home. We were expecting that students would not be happy with going back into a routine, waking up early and moving according to bell times, getting dressed for school uniform every morning. And we were pleasantly surprised in terms of our school context. The kids came back and they transitioned really smoothly. They were quite happy to be back here at school for the vast majority of the kids. Obviously, there were some who were quite anxious about coming back because they'd spent all that time at home, and it was either that they were anxious about the social settings and the friendship groups, or they were anxious because they'd fallen behind and they didn't know how they would possibly catch up on 16 weeks of work. But from what I see here in our school context, our kids are coping, the vast majority of them are really coping quite well. I think as a parent, the best thing you can do is just listen. Don't belittle their concerns. If they're telling you that school is hard, say to them, why is school hard? What part of school is hard? Yes, school is hard because you've just had 16 weeks of learning from home, and now we're suddenly back in a face-to-face approach. So I think acknowledging how they're feeling, acknowledging that they might be anxious is step number one. And then step two would be, again, to reach out to your school, contact the wellbeing team at school, contact the learning support team at school. If you feel that that's not enough, then it would be a trip to your GP to do an assessment and maybe perhaps get a mental health plan for your child if that's necessary. But I think the most important thing is to listen and respond with as much warmth and kindness, compassion as possible.